Hello there everyone, this is Anton Duels here, and today I'm going to be doing what if Izuku Midoriya or Deku was the reincarnation of Minato namikaze. And I'm going to explain a few things. This is going to be the new way I do my videos from now on, so expect seeing these photos from now on. So let's start. So we start off the story at the 2 week time trainings arc, as Deku was talking to Kushina, saying, "What does your family does for a living?" As Kushina said to her that they own a shop that sells materials for hero equipment. As Minato was surprised about that and was kind of wondering if they could make him an actual flying Raijin Kuna for him. As Kushina was about to say something, but then Izuku said, "Does can your parents make me a flying Raijin Kuna?" As Kushina was shocked from hearing this and said, "Don't you have already a good amount of them?" As this Deku said, "I do, but I want an actual one, because mine come from the true seeking orbs." As Kushina understood why he wanted another one. If you guys can hear the noise, I'm sorry, I'm not in my usual place where I do my videos. This is my grandma's house, so you might hear noise. As Kushina understood why he wanted a real one. As she said, I'll try after the sports festival to tell them, and you can meet them if you want." As Minato, when he heard meeting her parents, he was like, "Oh, oh, great, time to meet parents again." Kurama in his head was laughing, saying, "That's your fault for getting reincarnated." As Kushina heard this and said, "Hey, don't start bothering Minato." As as Minato got out his mindscape, as they kept walking, as Kushina asked Minato what is he gonna do for his training over the 2 weeks. As Minato said, "I don't really know. I might as well practice how to how to control how to control my chakra much better than I usually do." As Kushina heard that he learned how to practice his chakra very well. As Kushina started to ask, "Can who taught you how to control your chakra better?" As Minato pointed at the seal in his belly and said, "Him." As he said, "Kurama, right?" As Kurama dragged them both into the mindscape and said, "Yep." And Minato did too. As Minato said, "Yeah, I did. I taught the kid that was in this body before we fused." As Kushina was surprised and shocked about hearing this, as she went up to Kurama and said, "Can you teach me how to control my chakra?" As Kurama nodded and said, "No, I really can't. But I can tell you who can teach you." As she said, "Who?" As Kurama used pointed his finger towards Minato. As Minato was shocked. As Kushina went in front of him and gave him the puppy dog eyes and said, "Please teach me how to control my chakra." As Minato wanted to refuse, as she gave him the puppy dog's eyes again, and it's just sighed and said, "Okay, I'll help you learn how to control your chakra." As as she started to jump up and jump and jump, as Minato felt happy seeing her like this. As Kushina saw the smile on Minato's face and just stopped and said, "When do we start training?" "Well, we can start training once we get out of this place." As Minato just snapped once, and everything turned into Mount Myoboku. You know where all those frogs were at in the mountain where every frog was living freely. Instead of having all those frogs, there was no frogs everywhere. There was just a plain mountain where there was a forest everything that were there left in peace. As Minato said to Kurama before leaving, "You're welcome," as he left. As Kurama laughed at this and said, "I think I'm gonna like living in this world." As Hagoromo came out of nowhere and said, "You think?" Giving Kurama a smirk. As Kurama said, "You know this kid is more stronger than the actual Naruto." As Hagoromo said, "Yes, I know, but still, you think you're gonna like living here?" As Kurama said, "Yep, this kid is a good person." As Hagoromo smiled at this and said, "Well, well, I hope you like this." As Hagoromo left. As we come back to Minato, Minato was walking towards the forest. As Kushina asked, "Didn't you say we're going towards your house?" As Minato said, "We are." As Minato and Kushina reached a wooden house in the middle of the forest, where there was a river and a lot of woods and a lot of trees around it. As Minato said, "Well, you can come inside." As Minato came inside with Kushina. As Kushina and Minato were went went outside and started to train on water walking. As Minato and Kushina were doing their water walking. As Minato was set on the water and started to meditate. As Kushina decided to do the same because she had it already had a good control of over her chakra, but not as good as Minato. As Minato and her were meditating on top of the water, and if one of them even slip on their meditation, will go under the water. As Kushina was having a good time, hard time keeping a concentrated mind on it. As Kushina almost fell into the water until Minato grabbed her and stopped her. As Minato said, "You good?" As Kushina smiled at him and said, "I am." As Minato saw her wet body and looked closely and saw the same thing he saw in last part. As Minato just looked away and blushed. When he did that, he just lost his concentration and fell to the ground. As as hmm, as Minato and Kushina landed on top of each other when they got out of the water. As Kushina looked at Minato, and as Minato looked at Kushina, and they both were kind of blushing as Minato decided to speak up. As Minato said, Kushina, can you get off me?" As Kushina looked correctly and saw the position that she was in, as she blushed and nodded and said, "Yes, I'll get off." As he got off Minato. As Minato was still blushing, as he said, "I can use my fly writing and go get you clothes." As Kushina nodded at this and said, "Thank you." As Minato disappeared and reappeared and said, "Here, well, you can go into the shower first." As Kushina smiled at him and just went off. As she looked back and said, "Don't peek, or I'll grab you on my change and beat you up." As Minato glump, just glump a bit and said, "Oh God, okay, I won't try anything." As Kushina said, "Okay." As we cut a few minutes later, Kushina was about to get out of the bathroom as Minato just came in. As Minato saw Kushina with a towel wet as Minato said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to come in. I didn't hear the shower on, so I thought you were out." He had his hands on his eyes, but he added a small hole to look at her. As Kushina was mad, mad at him. As Minato said, "I am dead." "Yep, I'm dead." As Minato just was about to throw his fire Raijing out of there, as Kurama stopped the fly riding and said, "You're staying here to feel what it feels to feel the wrath of a person with that attitude." As Minato said, "Ah, can life just help me for once? Hagoromo, where are you when I need you?" As Hagoromo appeared and said, "This is your problem, kid. Don't let me in." As he disappeared, as Kurama said the same, as he threw Minato out of his mindscape, as as what should I do? Let me think. As Kushina was about to wrap him around and beat him and hit him, as she looked directly and saw that Minato was in a towel too. As she stopped and looked at Minato from up to bottom, not the way that you guys might be thinking, the other way. As Kushina looked from up to bottom and saw that Minato was shirtless, so I'm sorry guys about that. As Minato realized that he was only in towel too, as they both said, "How about we call this a day and we don't and none of us killed each other? How about that?" As Kushina blushed at this and said and nodded at this, as Minato was blushing too because he was seeing for a second time Kushina naked, but not actually naked in towels. Okay, as as we skip one day later, Kushina got a call from his parents saying that we were worried about you. Where's your mom and dad at? Where were you? Who are you with? As Kushina started to explain that she is with her boyfriend. Guys, I'm gonna do a quick pause. Okay, I'm back. As Kushina told her parents who she is with and where she is, as the parents understood who she was because Kushina kept talking about a man with blonde hair and blue eyes being someone that she belonged with and wanted to be with together. As their parents wanted to meet him, as Kushina gave the phone to Minato, as her parents said, "Hello, young man. We are Kushina's parents." As Minato suddenly felt a nerve hit his throat as he started to stutter, saying, "Hi, Isuku Namikaze, or Minato Namikaze. You guys can call me whichever you want." As they were both shocked to hear the same name that Minato that Kushina was talking about, as they said, "Well, you better take care of our daughter and make sure not to do anything you're not supposed to do until you're older." As Minato thought about what happened a day ago, as he thought about it and turned red, as he said, "I will," in a stuttering voice, as the parents had his second thoughts about this, but just shrugged it off and said, "Okay, take care of our daughter and make sure not to do anything you're gonna regret doing." As Minato just smiled at this and said, "I will." As they hanged up, as he gave the phone to Kushina, as Kushina saw his face was red, as she asked, "What happened?" As he said, "Nothing. Let's just go train." As Kushina and Minato went to train under tree walking next. As they got a good hang at tree walking, Minato was made it to the top part of the tree. Kushina made it to the top part of the tree in at least a few more days. As we skip a week, we're in the second week. This is it's around the third day of the second week. The third day of the second week. Minato was trying to improve Kushina's Taijutsu. As Minato and Kushina were improving their Taijutsu. As Minato asked Kurama if he knows anything about the brutal strength Tsunade had. As Kurama touched his cheeks and was touching his cheeks and started to, sorry guys, I started as Kurama started rubbing his chin and said, I think it was called 100 Ceilings. As Hagoromo came out of nowhere and said, I can tell you about 100 ceilings. As Minato said, please tell me about 100 ceilings. Kushina may need it. As Kushina came in and said, Sage's sixth path? As the Sage's sixth path said, Hi Kushina. As Kushina smiled at him. As a few days later, on the fifth week of the sec, fifth week of the second. Wait, it's. I think I said the fifth week of the second week. Yeah, the fifth week of the second week. Minato Kushina got a Minato and Kushina got a good hang over the 100 ceilings. They were doing a good. They were all fighting good, as Minato was testing the Bruce strength he copied from the Sage's Six Path scroll that he gave him. As Minato and Kushina were both using the 100 ceilings and started and put and hit a punch towards a tree. As they both broke to only two trees. As Minato and Kushina said, well, this is gonna be enough strength to beat those robots in the sport festival. As as we skip to the day of the sport festival, Kushina and Minato came in folding hand to hand, walking into class. As everyone saw this and gave Minato and Kushina a look, saying, why couldn't it be me? As Kushina and Minato just shrugged it off and went on. As Mr. Sawa came in, in his regular caterpillar style, a man who looks like a caterpillar and fell asleep. Yes, as he got out of his caterpillar thing. As as guys, whatever music you're hearing in the background, I do not own this, so I do not want to get strike for it. So the only thing that I own is the way that I did the thumbnail, but I do not own these two pictures. As Mr. Izawa came in and said, put on your PE uniforms and we will go do the sport festival. As over the 2 weeks, Mr. Aizawa told Nesu about Isuku's problem, as Nesu got a PE uniform that will fit Isuku perfect. As Mr. Aizawa threw it at Isuku and said, put it on. It's the same PE uniform that Isuku wore in the sport festival in Canon, but just a bit more bigger. As Minato went with the boys to the boys' room, and yes, this time they put it on in the sports festival because they had separate rooms for the boys and girls. As all the boys were looking at Minato and saw that his just his body look with a shirt on looked like he had no muscles. He looked so skinny, but he had a good amount of muscle on him. As the boys were shocked to see that. As Kurishima went up and said, "Dude, you're so manly. What's your training regimen?" As Minato gave him a look, saying, "You do not want to know my training regimen." As Minato said that to him, as Kurishima asked, "Why can we not know it?" As Minato explained to Kurishima that his training regimen is really brutal. 1,000,000 push-ups, 1,000,000 sit-ups, 1,000,000 layups, a million everything you can think of, just like you have to do it 1,000,000 times. As Kurishima said, okay, I'm never gonna ask you that again. Minato said, you see what I mean? As we cut to the bus, everyone, Momo wanted to sit next to sit next to Minato, aka Isuku, as Kushina was already there, smiling at Momo, giving her a look. Stay away from my man. As Kushina, as Momo was like, okay, I'll go back to stay with someone else. As Kushina just smiled back at Isuku, who was sleeping. As Kushina saw this and said, huh, he fell asleep. And just grabbed him and put him on her lap. As Isuku felt a soft pillow on him, as he said, now I can fall asleep. As a few hours later, Kushina started to, sorry guys about that, started to play with Isuku's hair. As Isuku, a few hours later, woke up and said, what happened? We got here? As Kushina said, yes, we're here. As Minato said, oh, we're here, okay. As we're gonna start off with the with the running test. I think it was the running test. Yes, yeah, it was the running part. As Minato, Kushina, and everyone in class 1A were getting ready to run. As everyone in class said, please go easy on us. As class 1B, class 1B, every class in UA heard please go easy on us. As they asked, why would you want them to go easy on you guys? And as they said, you'll see why. As Kushina said, Minato, please help me win. As Minato said, fine, I'll help you win. As Kushina yelled in happiness. As everyone else saw this, as Midnight and President Mike yelled, go! As at all of a sudden, they saw a black orb go straight to the final to the winning circle. As they saw Minato and as they saw Minato there, as Minato literally as Minato was only halfway through the crossing line, as he had a Kushina on his arms, holding her bridal style. As he said, well, Kushina, you can go in first. As he put Kushina down and went in second. As they said, Kushina Uzumaki first. Minato namikaze or Isuku namikaze first. As everyone were shocked as they look at class 1A and said, you see what we mean, that he's the devil? As everyone were shocked and were a bit surprised of this as at a boy's power. As we skip to where the part where they spin the wheel, it's a Caliberry battle. As nobody wanted to be on Minato's team. Kushina came up to him and said, I can be on your team. As Minato smiled at her and said, I can always count on you, can I? As Kushina smiled at this and said, yes you can. As Minato just grabbed Kushina and put her on his shoulder. Put her on top of his shoulders. As Kushina was like, what are you doing? Hold on. As Minato summoned one of the true seeking orbs and made it for him to flow. As everyone saw Isuku flow, as they said, that won't help you. That won't help you. As Bakugou started to run towards Isuku, as he said, Isuku, deku, you nerd! You won't win this! As Isuku saw Bakugou coming towards him, as he said, Kushina, you better hold on. As Kushina held on to Isuku, as Isuku started to float around. As Isuku just put one hand down and grabbed Bakugou's headband. As in the screaming said, first place. got a hundred more points. As Kushina said, "Hey, all you have to do is just float in the sky and you'll win. Make it fair for everyone else." As Izuku said, "Fine, I'll make it fair." As Kushina smiled at Izuku and then kissed his forehead and said, "Thank you." As Izuku just blushed and said, "You're welcome." As out of nowhere, Bakugo finally found his headband. As Bakugo said, "Deku, you nerd, you gave it back to me?" As Deku said, "Yes, I did. You should be saying thank you to her." As Kushina waved at Bakugo, as Bakugo just said, "Tusk, that, that nerd's girlfriend, she should be dating me, not him." As Izuku heard this and got a little mad, as his red eyes just showed in front of everyone, as everyone saw his eyes went from blue to red, as they all said, "What was that?" As Deku said, "What was what?" As everyone from the other classes looked at class 1A as they asked, "You'll see soon enough what was that." As there was only 30 seconds left. As the 30 seconds were going down, everyone were only chasing each other. Izuku was in the middle of the zone, just floating around until, sorry guys about that too, until Todoroki said, "I had enough," as he threw an ice shot towards Deku, as Deku just sighed and used one hand and said, "Fire style, fireball jutsu," and burned through all the ice. As Todoroki was shocked about this and said, "You have fire too?" As as Minato looked at him and smiled and said, "You should use your fire too." As as Todoroki yelled, saying, "I will never use that fire." As Todoroki was yelling to him, "I will never use this fire." As as what should I do next? As the 30 seconds were done, Midnight yelled out, "Izuku Midoriya, first place!" Izuku Midoriya, first place, tied up with him, Kushina Uzumaki. As Kushina smiled at him, as Minato smiled back at her and said, "Well, we won, so you want to get off my back now?" As Kushina said, "Nope." As she hugged Minato's back, as Minato felt something he was not supposed to feel, as he started to blush. I'm gonna do a quick pause. I have to go do something. Sorry guys if you heard that voice. That was just somebody calling me. As Minato started to blush and said, "Oh God, why does this have to happen to me?" As Kurama laughed and said, "Why didn't you say, Kurama, where are you? Where I need you?" As Minato said, "Shut up, Kurama." As Kurama kept laughing, as Minato got out of his mindscape and said, "Okay, you can stay there." As they went to the waiting room, all of the classes in UA, other schools, were looking at Minato and Kushina. As Kushina fell asleep on Minato's back, as Mr. Aizawa came out to Minato and said, "Are you good with her on your back?" As Minato looked at Mr. Aizawa and said, "Yeah, I'm fine. You can let her sleep." As Minato was walking around, as Bakugo said, "Deku, you shitty nerd! Why did you just give me my headband back?" As Izuku said, "Like I said, you should be thanking her. She saved your life from losing this tournament." As Bakugo had second thoughts before talking about Kushina. As Bakugo was about to say something about Kushina, as out of the nowhere, Bakugo felt something go straight at his neck and came back. As Minato said, if you ever say something about her, you will know what true pain is, and you will feel as much pain as I felt over these 17 years of being stuck with you. And yes, they're almost at college, so there's no point of me saying why he's 17. As Bakugou just looked at Minato and saw that his eyes went red and just turned back to normal. As Minato just walked away, Bakugou said, "Okay, never get Blondie angry again," as he recorded on his head. As everyone saw that, the blonde guy threw something at Bakugou and made him feel like death was near. As a few hours later, it was the 1v1 battles. Everything went to canon instead of one battle. I'm gonna change one battle, and I'm gonna make it be Tokoyami versus Kushina. As Kushina was about to push Tokoyami, as Tokoyami used his Dark Shadow and pushed Kushina off the win. As Kushina got fourth place. As it was then Tokoyami versus Todoroki. As forget about what I said. Tokoyami versus Todoroki. As everything went to canon until Minato's versus Shinso. As Shinso was about to say, "Wow, isn't it good to have a fancy?" As he felt something on his hand. As he looked and saw that he was sitting on the grass. As Minato smiled at him and said, "I'll tell you something, Shinso. Your quirk is amazing. Just keep training and make people believe that it isn't a villain's quirk." As Shinso was surprised that he knew about that. As everyone were shocked to see the speed of a high schooler. And yes, Minato was in his third year. As everyone were shocked to see the speed of a high schooler. As Mr. Isawa smiled at everybody and said in the mic, "This was the kid that was betrayed, or you can say framed, in one of our USJ, and now he's one of the strongest in the whole school. So if any of you said is that his max power, you haven't seen anything yet." As Izuku smiled at Mr. Aizawa, Mr. Aizawa smiled back, and just as in the blink of an eye, Izuku just disappeared. As everyone saw that he was waiting at the waiting stand with the red haired girl. As Kushina hugged Izuku and said, "Hey, that wasn't a fair win." As Izuku said, "How do you want me to win that? You wanted me to punch him through the wall?" As Kushina said, "Fair point, fair point. I am not gonna tell you that again." As Minato yelled, "Now you see why I didn't do that." As it was now, as we skip the battles went according to canon. Now is the Todoroki versus Izuku, aka Minato. As Minato saw Todoroki, as Todoroki went into the ring, as Minato was suddenly stopped by Endeavor himself. As Endeavor said, "You kid, try to make Todoroki use his flames, and I will pay you any sum you want." As Minato looked at Endeavor and activated his demon eyes, or should I say, Kurama's eyes, as he said, "I will never listen to you, second grade hero." As Endeavor got angry at this and tried to punch Minato, as Minato just disappeared out of his eyes and reappeared behind him with holding a kunai to his neck and said, "Try that again, and the first thing you'll see will be death himself. And then I'll kill you as many times as I want. Not even death or God or any person that can bring back will save you." As Endeavor was shocked from this kid's tone, as Minato just kept walking away. As Endeavor was yelling, "Still, You'll regret what you did. My son will win. As Isuku just smiled at Endeavor and said, we'll see, Endeavor, we'll see. As Isuku reached the ring, as Isuku gave the same speech to Todoroki that he gave in canon, as Todoroki finally learned that he can't beat this man without his fire side. As Endeavor activated his fire, no, as Todoroki activated his fire side and eyesight, and launched a great attack Minato. As Minato disappeared and reappeared in the same place, as he did a Rasen Shuriken. As the Rasen Shuriken was going towards Todoroki's fire attack, as they were about to make a great shockwave. As Cementus was about to make his wall, as the attack hit each other. As all the smoke cleared out, everyone saw that Isuku was still standing up. The only thing ripped off from him was his shirt. As everyone saw Isuku's body. Isuku's body had his scars on his hand and one scar on his chest. As everyone saw this, and they were looking at him from top to bottom, as they saw his body was good, that even all the girls nosebleed. As Kushina saw this and was sad, as Minato looked and said, and tucked to her in his mind and said, "Don't worry, I'm only yours and yours only." As Kushina smiled at this, as Kurama said, "Oh, so when is the wedding?" As Minato blushed and said, "I didn't say I'm gonna plan a wedding." As Kushina went down a bed and said, "Huh, so he doesn't want to marry me after all." As Minato said, "But not in this age." As when Kushina heard this, smiled, got the brightest smile, even more brightest than Naruto himself. And as Cementos was looking for Todoroki, as he saw Todoroki was in a wall, trying to get off. As President Mike pronounced, Isuka Midoriya, winner of this match. As the next match was Bakugou versus Isuku. As Isuku said, "Oh, I'm about to have some fun with you." As Isuku activated his chakra cloak. As everyone saw, his eyes went red, and he started to turn yellow. As Okay, guys, I'm gonna do a quick pause. I need to do something. I am back. I just had to go fix something for my grandmother. As Minato said the same thing that I said a minute ago. He said, "Oh, I'm about to have some fun with you, Bakugo." As Bakugo heard this and said, "Ah, so no Kachan?" As Isuku said, "I abandoned that a long time ago. Once I was betrayed by the person I trusted so much in this world." As Bakugo already knew who he was talking about. As All Might was watching this too, and he already knew who he was talking about to Bakugo. He was saying and he said, "He's talking about me." As we come back to Isuku and Bakugo. Bakugo started to use his quirk, Explosion, and started flying towards Isuku. As Isuku saw this coming from a mile away, as Isuku decided to use one of the hands and start to use one of the hands to block the attack, but he just said, "Oh, I might as well use this chakra cloak to boost my speed." As he used the first chakra cloak where he didn't have he didn't have the master, as he started to run towards Bakugo. As Bakugo was about to launch an attack, as Isuku just jumped up and slammed on Rasengan on Bakugo's back. The same thing that Minato did to Obito in the beginning of the anime, he did it to Bakugo. And imagine the same thing that he did to Obito. That. As Bakugo spit out blood, he spit out blood. As everyone saw this and said, how is that attack so strong? As Minato just got off there and said, this is not even full power. You're this weak, Bakugo. I thought you said you were gonna be the #1 hero. As everyone heard, this is not even full power? So he's more stronger than this? As Bakugo said, shut up, you shitty nerd. As Bakugo decided to use that ultimate attack that he did during the fight with 9, that attack. As Minato saw this and said, Bakugo, don't do that. You're gonna destroy that. You're gonna destroy the field where the audience were at. As Bakugo activated One for All, and yes, if I didn't say who had One for All, I'm sorry guys about that. If I didn't say who had a One for All in the last part, Bakugo had it, and he learned full Cowling. Yes, if I would say, I'll say the same thing as one YouTuber who did an abandoned series and gave full Cowling to Bakugo. I'll say the same thing as he did. He said that Bakugo's fighting strategies are good. I'll say the same thing. He's a fighting genius, so I might as well give him One for All at 50%, 15%. As Bakugo said, "Ha! Like I care. I am here to beat you." As Bakugo looked correctly and saw that Minato was telling the truth, as he was about to stop his attack, but then said, "I don't care as long as you lose." As Bakugo let it out, as Minato just said, "Ah," as he then decided to do, as he then activated his Kurama avatar, as he made a shield with Kurama, and shielded the whole stadium where Bakugo was about to hit, where Bakugo's ultimate attack was about to hit at. As Bakugo saw that and said, "So this is your full power?" As Minato said, You were about to kill people. How could you?" As Minato looked and saw Kushina. She was hurt on her left arm. Her left arm had a few bruises, and she was yelling out in pain. As Mr. Aisawa, Nesu, President Mike, and Oma yelled out at Bakugo and said, "Bakugo, you are disqualified from the sport festival for hurting innocent people." As Minato saw this, his mind just shattered. And yes, guys, I'm about to get rid of Bakugo for good. If I make him get healed, I'm about to get rid of him for a good long time. As everyone saw Isuku starting to get engulfed in red chakra, as his whole body went straight to the fourth tail cloak, as he said, I had enough of you," in an angry tone. As Bakugo saw this and started to laugh. "What have you had enough of me?" As Isuku started to do a tail beast bomb, as everyone was shocked. What can this attack do? As Isuku then let's just say it was the same attack Kurama did when he absorbed the tail beast bomb and made a beam. That attack, as everyone saw Isuku make a beam out of that bomb, as it hit, as Bakugo dodged the beam, as the beam destroyed half of the stadium that Bakugo and him were standing in. As Bakugo thought Isuku missed on purpose, so he missed. As Isuku was standing right next to Bakugo, as Isuku said, "Now you're going to pay for all those years of torturing me, for all those years of bullying me, for all those years of not having any humanity in you, to let a quirkless person rest in peace for once." as Izuku used his 100 seal in his Kurama mode and punched Bakugou into the floor as he kept doing the same things over and over and over and over and over. As Izuku kept saying, huh, so now who's weak, Bakugo? So now, so tell me, a quirkless person like me actually beat you. So this is what's gonna happen to you for all the torture you did to me, for all the bullying, for all the scars you have given me. Bakugo, look at me. You have hurted me enough. As everyone heard this, they were all shocked and sad for Izuku because they all saw the scars that Izuku had it on his body. As everyone were looking at Bakugo, as Bakugo heard this too, as Bakugo just looked at Izuku and said, "For me, it was just a harmless prank." And Izuku said, "You think it was just a harmless prank? You have hurt someone that I love. And you have made everyone in my life go away from me. If they even think they can get close to me, all they thought that you were going to attack them, that you were going to hurt them. And now, I won't let you do that anymore. I won't let you be in my life anymore. You won't be in here anymore." As Deku kicked Bakugo, went up, jumped up, kicked Bakugo to the ground, breaking at least 7 of his ribs, breaking at least 2 of his arms, and at least his nose too. As Izuku threw Bakugo, transformed into his Sage's expand mode, and just said, "Now die a hell, you bully." You know what? Let's just say something else. "Now die a hell, you bastard." As Izuku was about to throw Rasen Shuriken Barrage. It was all the 5 elements in 5 different in 5 other different and 4 other different clones. Izuku had the Rasen Shuriken, another clone had the lightning style Rasen Shuriken, another one had the other element as Izuku kicked Bakugo to the sky. As they were all about to throw it, as they all threw it, as All Might came out of nowhere, pushed Bakugo himself down to the ground. As All Might said, "Young Midoriya, that's not how a hero should act." As Isuku said, "Oh, now I'm a hero to you, All Might. Weren't you the one that didn't believe in me? Weren't you the one that almost killed me? Weren't you? Oh my, it was because of you that I ended up like this. You didn't believe in me, and you decided to give your quirk to a person who torture people, who doesn't believe in them, who doesn't trust them, who treats quirkless people like they're trash, like they're people beneath him." As as All Might started to have second thoughts about young Bakugo, as All Might started to say, "But still, that's not how a hero's supposed to act." As Izuku said, "So now you wanna treat me like a hero? I'll tell you this, All Might. Since you're a power-hungry bastard, I will show you what true power is." As Izuku activated Sage's Expand Sage Mode, as he created a Biju bomb in his hand and said, "Rasen Biju bomb." As he as he was about to throw it, as he was about to rush over to All Might and killed All Might forever, as suddenly out of nowhere, Kushina came out and said, "Minato, it's okay." No, as she said, "Izuku, it's okay. Please, don't kill them." As Izuku said, "Kushina, you're okay." I'm sorry. went a bit overboard. As Kushina said, it's okay, just please don't try not to die on me. As Minato smiled, as he was standing still, as he deactivated all his powers, as Kushina, punched All Might and said, "That's what you get for for letting one of your students hurt my boyfriend." She went over to Minato, as she hugged Minato and said, "I'm sorry that you had to go through all that pain." As Minato said in a slow voice, saying, "It's all right, Kushina." As he went unconscious, as everyone in the stadium started to clap, as they yelled at All Might and Bakugo, as Mr. Aizawa called told the class to go take Midoriya and go take Bakugo to the nurse, as Kushina was with Isuku over at the nurse. And this is where I'm gonna leave it off. Thank you everybody for watching my video. I think today I'm gonna be doing the Bill what if. I'm gonna be doing the second part of what if Bell was betrayed. I really want to make the second part, so tell me in the comments if I should if I should if I should make a new what if, or I should continue a new series. So bye everyone. Thank you for watching my video. Hope you have a good day, a good night wherever you live.